everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is JoJo and this is JoJo Budgets. So I am really excited about today's video because we are going to be paying off more debt. My husband and I are paycheck by paycheck zero-based budgeters, and we are closing out paycheck number 2. We're going to first start with our week 4 check-in, but all of the money or our cash flow right here, all of that is going to be thrown at debt today. We're going to find out what the actual number is and pay off some debt. So I'm going to get you guys switched over to my transaction log and we'll get started. Alright, so here we are at my transaction log. I've already filled out all of our transactions for the week just for the sake of saving time. And I have you guys zoomed in just for those of you who are new to walk you through the columns of my transaction log. The first column is a checkbox section to make sure I've reconciled all my transactions, followed by the date the transaction occurred, a description, how much it was for, how much is remaining from the category that I had budgeted for that transaction, and then what category it fits into. I do also color code my categories just to make this process go a lot more smoothly. And green is for income, pink is a bill, yellow is a variable expense, and then blue is a sinking fund. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in my weekly check-in and we'll start reconciling our transactions for variable expenses. This is my weekly check-in sheet right here. My husband and I get paid every other week, so each paycheck covers 2 weeks worth of variable expenses. And this is just how I keep track of those variable expenses for the last 2 weeks before pulling the numbers into my paycheck budget sheet. Last week we did our week 3 check-in. These are the transactions that I reconciled last Thursday and the dates that it covered. So this week we are doing, we're going to be over here, we are going to be doing again paycheck number 2, and these transactions are for July 23rd to July 29th. And this is going to be for week 4. So how I like to reconcile my transactions is I actually use the remaining column over here. For me, it just makes it easier for adding the numbers together, or makes it so I make fewer mistakes. For those of you who have watched previous videos, you know that I have a problem with typing numbers into the calculator. So I'm just going to start with groceries. These are all of our family's variable expenses. So the last time I purchased groceries was at Costco, and we had to buy a lot of meat. So I did end up going over budget because meat is really expensive, you guys. Even I was surprised. It was chicken. Chicken was expensive. I was not expecting that. But so I budget $400 for 2 weeks. We were over budget by $29.33. So $429.33 is what we spent the last 2 weeks. And then I just subtract what I'd spent last week on groceries, which is the $146.21. And that tells me how much I spent this week on groceries, which was $283.12. Okay, and then our over budget amount of $29.33. But my husband and I, we were talking about like buying a cow, like finding a rancher and buying a cow and then just having it butchered ourselves, because then you know that you're getting quality meat. And we have a deep freezer that in our garage that we could store the meat in. So we're seriously considering doing that. Let's see, so we were over budget on eating out and entertainment, but a lot of that spending was from last week, or the 2 weeks ago, so during week 3, just because we had so much going on as far as birthday celebration and vacation, all of that sort of stuff. Okay, and then next up is household, and we budget $125 for household and pets, and we are really over budget here. A lot of this has been our sprinkler system. You guys, I I am feeling so bad for my husband. He has been having a heck of a time getting our sprinkler system going. It's weird. It's like he's replaced nearly every part on it that he could think of, and it's still like just one of the sprinkler heads will constantly run. And he's talked to his dad about it because his dad has, you know, he's a handyman of sorts, so he has pretty much replaced or done anything as far as a sprinkler system would go. And his dad didn't even know either, and we tried calling someone out to come fix it for us last week, or on Monday actually this week, and they never showed up. So now he has to try to find someone else, and that's going to be expensive too, so I'm sure you guys will see that bill coming up in the future. But our household expenses, we have not been able to keep those under control. And then we did also need some more things for our fish tank. We have a fish tank. We have several different kinds of pets. We had to get some filters for those, and so that was one of our Amazon purchases. Just all the little things, you know, that we all need for throughout our lives. See, so my husband, he was over budget. This week he spent $43.69, and then he was overall over budget by $52.64, and I budget $40 for us. The last 2 weeks I had not spent anything this week, but I did mention to you guys I have this my face category that's down here. Because I told you guys that whatever money I have left over, I'm going to put that into a sinking fund so that I can save up for some of the more expensive beauty purchases that I want to make. And so that's where I have down here, where I'm going to keep track of that. I'm saving up for some lash serum, but I was actually talking to one of the girls that I work with, and she has lash extensions. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Let me know. Do any of you guys have lash extensions, or what do you do as far as beauty, as far as that goes? I'm not quite sure yet. It honestly will end up being, I wouldn't have to wear mascara, which that would be nice, but I think it would end up being more expensive. I could still fit it into how much I budget for myself. I'd have to save up for the initial, but I would be able to fit it into how much I budget for myself for the 2 weeks out of our paycheck once I pay for the initial, I guess, placement of them. I don't know what you would call it, but yeah, so that's where we are as far as my face and my lashes and figuring out what I'm going to do with that. So let's see. Unbudgeted. So this is a subscription through Amazon. I put a pause on it. I think it's a part of my kids' Kindle. And they honestly, like some of the different services that Amazon offers for their Kindles, they don't really use those. So I don't think that I'm going to continue that. Oh, whoops, I did this completely wrong. Of course, I'm pulling out the whiteout again. So we were over budget. Don't budget anything for unbudgeted, obviously. And then we were over budget by 58. So this week we spent we were over budget by $14.74, or we had unbudgeted $14.74, and we were overall $72.74 for unbudgeted. Okay, now the amount that I'm going to be transferring for my face. saving up for whatever I'm doing with my lashes. I don't know. I forgot to add in paycheck number one's remaining that I had from the $40 I budgeted for myself. I had like $1.80 something cents, but I've already added. So I have $28.27 left over for this week, plus the $1.80, what was it, $1.87 that I had last week, and that equals $30.14 that I'm going to be putting into sinking funds. And so that will be included when I add all these together and pull it into my paycheck budget sheet. So that money is reconciled as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and total these out. We spent $591.09, and we were over budget overall by $263.97. Right, so now I'm going to switch you guys over to my paycheck budget sheet and we'll finish reconciling our transactions. So here we are at my paycheck budget sheet. For those of you who have watched previous videos, this is what I use to forecast my paychecks before the money hits the bank account. Now we're going to go through and finish plugging in actual numbers. During last Thursday's video, we filled out some of this information on the right side, right-handed columns, and now we'll finish wrapping it up for week 4. So starting at the top with income, there was a little bit of extra income. I had some interest come in from my checking account, just a little bit. And then I'd had a little bit of money come in through my Etsy shop and that I just started last week. And then I also had some cash that came in. So that totaled $20.04. And that was extra. So these sheets, like the paycheck budget sheet, the transaction log, and the weekly check-in, those are what are available on my Etsy shop if you're interested. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add up my income and we'll figure out what our total actual income was for the month of July. Okay, so $28.7604, $10.75.97, $5.84, $12.94, $84, $20.04. All right, so we had a total income of $5,850.89. Now we're going to move over to my fixed expenses, and we will go through the pink boxes that are on my transaction log. So right here, this is the line, this is how I separate week 3 from week 4. So all of these up here were the week 3 transactions that we reconciled last Thursday. So first up, as far as bills go, we had my water bill. I paid it online, and after they showed the bill clearing, there was an additional service that they put on. So that I'm going to add to the bill, but I'm just going to keep that in mind. So right here you can see our water bill. This $2.25 should have been added onto that $125.50, but the service fee came through later. I'm not sure why it wasn't all lumped together, but we'll just tack it on over here, and we'll just say that was for water service. Okay, and we'll go ahead and check that one off. And then our Alexa bill, that came through as expected at $14.99. And for those of you who have watched my previous videos, I did not have the babysitter. This was zero. I thought that I'd already reconciled the $50 that I'd taken out for her, but I actually hadn't. So we spent $25 each day for the 2 days that she watched my daughter during week 3. So So that has now been reconciled. And then just our insurance. This is for, we have 2 vehicles and a motorhome. And next is my sinking funds, my monthly contribution to those, and then also our savings. All right, go ahead and check those off. Oops. And our total spent on fixed expenses was $2,920.52 for the month of July. So even though we were over budget in quite a few areas, I do try to overestimate my fixed expenses and underestimate my income so that I give myself a little bit of a cushion, because now we're going to add in all of our variable expenses, and we were over budget quite a bit in this area. Let's see. I think that week 3, where we had a lot of stuff going on, had kind of started us off on a bad foot, I guess you could say. Okay, so eating out, we spent a total of $111.49, but I am really happy with how we were able to limit our eating out during week 4, because we had eaten out so much during week 3, so we were able to decrease that by quite a bit. Okay, just going through writing the totals. And then anything that was over budget, I write in red. Under budget, I write in blue, at least when I remember to do that. Okay, 73. And then, let's see, he was over budget. My oldest spent $27.56. And my kid, little ones. All right, so our school did have a meeting yesterday to decide on the plans for the kids, and it looks like they can. They were originally going to say that the kids couldn't go back to school at all, at least for the month of August, but it looks like the decision yesterday was that the elementary school aged kids can go to school Monday through Friday, and then they're going to have a hybrid for the high schoolers, which my oldest, he is going to be starting high school this year. So that is going to be starting mid-August. I've been keeping you guys kind of up to date on what's going on as far as that. I'd like to hear how you guys are doing, if you have kids, that situation. Okay, so let's see, variable expenses, we had spent a total overall of $1,178.97. So I have that muff face category that was not included. I don't have a column for that, so I'm just going to write it next to me. And that'll be the $30.14. So if you're adding these together, that's including this $30.14 that I had remaining over the last 2 weeks that I'm going to roll over into sinking funds. All right, so now we're going to move on to this sinking funds table, and this is how I keep track of any expenses made for my sinking funds categories. I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow showing you guys how I close out my sinking funds, but we did have to buy some more fish, so that was at Petco. My husband had got some tiger barbs, and we did not buy enough tiger barbs, so they can be a little aggressive, and there was one tiger barb that was being very naughty and picking on everyone in the tank. So now that we got some new tiger barbs, they are all schooling together and getting along, and the ones that we got were a little bit smaller, so they look like little babies. And there was even one that was an albino, which It looks pretty cool, and my kids were so excited. They were like, oh, we have the baby, there's families. It's pretty cute. Okay, so all of our transactions have been reconciled, and now comes the fun part. We get to figure out what our cash flow is, how much are we throwing at debt. Let's figure it out. Okay, so here we have our total income, $58.50.89, minus our expenses, our fixed expenses, $29.20.52, minus our variable expenses, $11.78.97. All right, so we are throwing a total of $1,751.40 at student loan number 1 today. So now I'm going to write that down here. And I'll go ahead and, whoops, oh goodness. Okay, so $21.51.79 minus $17.51.40. Ooh, that's so cool to see. Oh my god. Okay, so student loan number 1 is going to be down to $400.39. So after these videos are done, I go and just transfer that money over, throw that money at that debt. Okay, so let's figure out what our totals are at the end of July. So 439, add 36.90.77 plus the 899.91 and the 61.504.05. Okay, so we are ending the month of July with $66,495.12. You guys, these numbers are just falling away. All right, that is going to wrap up this paycheck number 2 closeout video where I use my cash flow to pay off more debt. And thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to hear in the comments below how your guys' month of July is wrapping up. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you are enjoying the contents of this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And I will see you guys tomorrow when I close out sinking funds for the month of July.